There's a myth around digital transformation that I think that banks need to know. And that is that digital transformation is the end. Now, I'm not saying that everybody is convinced that digital transformation is a thing unto itself, but really what digital transformation is about is customer centricity. It's about focusing on what your customers want to be able to do. What behavior do they want to be able to engage in? Digital channels open up behavior, that it opens up conveniences that we'd like to have, that we need to be able to use technology to enable. That's what digital transformation is about. There's a lot of digital transformation money that's been wasted on the end of being more digital without a focus on how is that actually going to help my customer make progress. And when you ask that question first, that tells you what your digital strategy should be, and therefore what the digital transformation efforts should be, if any. The three questions that bank directors should be asking about their bank's digital strategy really comes down to a focus on what does the customer want. One of the things that I've found is that a lot of times we don't have an intimate knowledge of what the customer wants. We have some information, but we don't dive deep to understand what they think about from their perspective. So the first question you should be asking is, what job do your customers have in their lives that they're hiring a bank to do? And that's really, you can have simple 30 to 45 minute conversations with them. It's really a conversation. It doesn't have to be an overly scientific research process. Have these conversations and ask them that question. That's language they can understand, and they can give you answers that give you the anticipatory information to help you know where you should be going with your bank strategy to help them make progress on the things that they want to accomplish in their lives. The next question that you need to ask is, how might we help them make that progress on those jobs? You want to be able to have the right people in the organization to contribute to coming up with those answers. You especially want to make sure that you include people that are on the front lines. I recommend a small task force, but you need to think, how can we look at that experience that they want to have, the job they want to make progress on? How can we creatively solve that problem? And the third question that you're going to ask yourself after that is, how do we potentially need to change as an organization in order to accomplish that? And so you as Steve Jobs said, you start with the customer experience and you work backwards to the technology. I'm going to change that by saying you work backwards to everything else. Your strategy derives from where the opportunity is, and that comes from the jobs that customers want done in their lives. There is no difference between your digital channel versus your non-digital channel. You have to think about it all as one, because your customer thinks about you as one. When they're interacting with your app, they are judging you the same as when they are interacting with a person in your branch. So your strategy needs to focus on the holistic customer experience. And you need to be able to think about, okay, we understand what our customer wants. What can we do right now to be able to achieve that? And over time, iterate on that in order to get better and better. The idea that it is branch versus technology isn't the greatest way to think about it, because the customer doesn't think about it that way. That's why talking to your customers, understanding what they're trying to achieve is always so imperative, because that helps you to take that holistic view of the customer's end goal. And then you're thinking about, what do I have in my tool belt to be able to accomplish that goal, to help them accomplish that goal? Branch, technology, whatever it is. And so short term, that's the first thing that needs to be done. Long term, you can take the view of, what can we do as a bank to make sure we're investing in the right place and making the right build versus buy decision? You can't always be dependent on a third party. I know that there's a lot of dependence on larger financial technology organizations to provide some of the functionality that enables the ability to plug and play some of these capabilities. Long term, you don't always want to be completely beholden to the capabilities of those fintechs. What do we have to have control over for our customers? That knowledge is really important. And that will help you to make the unique trade-offs you need to make for your organization, for your customer base, instead of always taking the approach of a buy versus a build. There are strategic places where you can build, and knowing how to do that is dependent on the knowledge of your customer.